Hi, Nina here from ninaquiltedthat of 10/7 Quilting. And today we're going to talk about how to organize your LegitKit quilt kit. I am a certified instructor for LegitKits, and the first thing that I think is really important, I want you to know, is there's no wrong way. What way makes you comfortable in how you prepare your kit and sit down to use it so that you can reach all the parts and pieces that you need in your workspace that works for you, that's the right way. Today I'm just going to talk about a couple of ways that I like to do to organize my kit, and then specifically kind of the one that works for me. And I'll show you how I do that. So some people just like to put all of their parts in a little bucket. This makes some people happy. And if that's you, rock on with a little bucket. Bucket doesn't work for me because I'm really compulsive. And the only time I use the bucket is when I'm throwing all of my pieces in there. Another way that people like to organize their kits are just with plastic sleeves. Some of them are softer and some of them are more rigid, so whatever works for you. I actually have probably about 12 kits all organized with these. It works really well for me because once I finish one of the patterns, I just recycle these sleeves, so I keep using them until they've kind of lived their life. So that works. But I'm going to try this one out. Someone introduced this to me, and these are little Velcro free ring plastic sleeves that are a little bit more rigid than the other ones. I'm going to try this on my next kit. I think this might work really well. It's a bit more solid, so they'll last quite some time and probably serve you well if you're going to do multiple kits. You do one and recycle it and use this for a second one. Then I do personally like binders. I have my mini Blue Jay in a 2-inch 3-ring binder, and I did use plastic sleeves with that one because that was simple, and I did that. I happen to have a whole bunch of old cooking recipes in this old plastic spiral notebook, and I didn't want to throw the whole thing out, so I recycled the book and the plastic sleeves that came with it, and I put another kit in here that I prepped when I was getting everything ready. This one worked really well for me. So that was one of the ways that I like to do it. What I want to show you, and is really important, is depending on what kit you're doing. This mini Blue Jay is only 4 blocks. So it's 15 inches by 20 inches. And right on that front page, when you get your kit here, it tells you how many color fabrics you have. And that will give you an idea of how many plastic sleeves you're going to need. So this mini Blue Jay is a much smaller kit than, say, the Kraken, which is a 60-inch by 80-inch pattern. This one has 60 different colors, 40 different colors, and 226 pieces of fabric that you're going to end up cutting out. So this is a smaller kit. Just for size reference, I want to show you the Firefighter, who doesn't even fit in one full binder. This is a 4-inch 3-ring D binder, and this is after I've completed the kit. So this is the fabric that's left over after I've finished him. So when I first organized this kit, he was in, or she, were in 2 4-inch 3-ring D binders to fit all of the stuff before I started cutting things out. That's how I organize my kits, are these binders, because I can leave them on the shelf once they're done, and I can reference all this leftover fabric if I find that I'm needing things for other kits. So this is my method, and I'd like to take you through a couple parts that are really important to know when you organize yours. So if you're doing mini Blue Jay, like I said earlier, the first thing I look at is that there's 40 different colors. I know I need 40 plastic sleeves just for the colors alone. So I'll make sure I buy a stack of 40 of those. Then when I open my kit, I'll put the main page on the front, just because I like to be able to find it on the shelf if I'm referencing it later for a class, or just storing it, because maybe you'll make it again. It's your pattern. Then I like to organize the pieces inside so that I can get at them while I'm working. So I will start with these color guides that have the list first. I like to see this color guide on a 2-page spread. So I could have put 1 page here and 1 page there, but then I'd be flipping back and forth, and I don't want to flip back and forth. So I will organize so I can see it all on one opening page for this kit. I also like to see the pattern itself, this pattern guide on the pattern side and on the finish side, and on this is what you would see on the back of your quilt when the paper's on it. I like to have that on the 2-page spread like this as well, so that I don't have to flip back and forth to see both of it as I'm working my kit. The next pages that I will start to put in my binder now are the assembly guides. And so I will put one guide per page. And this particular one is for block A1. This is block A1, and this is the steps to create A1. And because A2 is such a large, it's not a larger block, it's the same size block, but it has a lot more steps into it. The guide that steps 1 through etc., they don't fit on the same page because it's so much work here. I have this on a 2-page spread. And then we go back to B1, and here's B2. As you can see, it has less steps involved, so it's a little bit smaller. And then these are your color cut guides. They're not to size, and I like to chop them up from the kit and put one color with the fabric in one sleeve. So this is color AS. This is the cut guide for AS. This is what's left over of my color AS after I finished this particular pattern. This is BJ cut guide and BJ fabric. So that's how I organize all of the colors until I finish and I get to the very end. Now, really important, before I put my fabric in these sleeves, I will lay them out on a felt mat or on a rack in my garage or out in the backyard, and I will spray starch every single piece of fabric. Spray starch it really good. I like my fabric to have some stiffness. This is foundation paper piecing, and some of these pieces are going to be very small, and you're not just cutting straight up and down or sideways. You have all of these different angles you're going to cut, so you really want to starch your fabric really well. Once my fabric starts, the starch is in the fabric. So I don't mind folding it and putting it in the sleeve with its cut guide. And that's how I have it for every kit I've done. I organize it like that so that when I'm going to ladies sewing night and I know I want to work on it, I just grab the particular binder that has everything in it and I take it with me. What we haven't talked about yet was the newsprint, which are the actual pattern pieces. And those, once I'm involved in doing the kit, we start cutting those and we start matching the fabrics to the colors, and we get more in depth. So that will be at a later video, but this is the beginnings of how to organize your kit. Thank you for watching How to Organize Your Kit from LegitKits. I hope you were inspired on how I like to organize my kit. And again, there's no wrong way. You do what makes you happy and makes it so that you can be productive in creating wonderful works of art like these. So subscribe and stay tuned for more videos on how to do LegitKits.